Oh, hi! It's not the weekend, it's not a twofer, and it's not my usual it's not my usual posting day. It's not even my usual content, but um, I guess I'm here. I'd just like to talk about a movie I just watched over the weekend. It was actually my birthday weekend, and I went to watch a movie, and that's Thunderbolts. It's the latest movie from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and and I believe it might be the last Phase 5 movie, and also it might be the spearhead to something to the to the next movies, right? I think it might be going to Phase 6, if I'm not mistaken, but I could be wrong. But I just like to talk about I just like to talk about um, Thunderbolts. I guess it could be a review. I will start with non-spoilers. Well, first off, it's a movie where where we have characters who are supposedly criminals, who are supposed to have done bad things, and where they had to work together, and in the end form a team. And no, that's not the Suicide Squad. It's Thunderbolts. Now it features Florence Pugh as Yelena Bulova. It has Sebastian Stan as Bucky, or the Winter Soldier. There's also David Harbour, who's the Guardian, the Red Guardian. There's Hannah John Kamen as the Ghost, and Wyatt Russell as John Walker, or U.S. agent, and they also had Louis Pullman as Bob, or the Sentry. So it features them as a group, and also had Olga Kurylenko as Taskmaster. So these are characters from older Marvel movies who were at the time were the antagonists, or even a main villain for some. But has since more or less has gone through a little bit of a redemption arc, or I would say rehabilitation arc. And um and I guess it's a film putting them together. Now, the director of this film is Jake Schreier. Now, most people would say that would actually refer him to Beef, which is HBO series with Steve Yeun and I think her name's Wong, wherein they're two neighbors feuding. But I remember him as the director of Paper Towns, because I like Cara Delevingne. People would say that she acts weird the way she acts, but I like the way she acted in that movie, and I like the movie itself. So that's where I actually met her, Jake Schreier, and then it was written by now I have to take notes because I'm not Eric Pearson and Joanna Callow. Now, Joanna Callow, I've heard through BoJack Horseman. It's okay, and also did The Bear. The Bear is a TV series with okay, I forgot the guy's name right now, but it's about cooking. It's about a chef taking over his father's sandwich shop. I did watch both seasons. Honestly, I did like the first season a lot. The second season got a bit. I kind of tuned out of it, but I would say that most people would love it. Honestly, it's a little too smart for somebody like me. So, but I did like the first season a lot. Now, Eric Pearson, I've heard the guy's name already previously in a lot of Marvel movies, specifically Black Widow. He did Thor Ragnarok. He was also doing the writing for Agent Carter. So, pretty good. But I believe there were some changes to the script. Now, the thing is, this was supposed to be a movie that should have been released maybe at least a year ago. But there was the strikes, the SAG strikes, which caused it to be delayed. So here we are. Now, in terms of the movie itself, I've been watching reviews, even reading reviews and talking about it, and watching it personally, I enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed it a lot. It's a little smaller in terms of scale, wherein actually, if you're talking about set pieces, it's just basically on two really main locations. Now, in terms of the character development, the thing is, you're talking about characters who last appeared um, almost almost 7 years ago. Ghost was one of the antagonists for Ant-Man and the Wasp, which was released in 2018. That's the earliest. Then we had Winter Soldier and Falcon, where John Walker was introduced, which is a TV. It's a Marvel TV series, not a movie. It was in around 2021, if I'm not mistaken. Black Widow was around 2021 as well, where the Red Guardian, Taskmaster, and Yelena Bulova was introduced, as well as Julie Louis Dreyfus from Seinfeld fame is cast as Valeria De Fontaine, Contessa De Fontaine. So she was also introduced in Winter Soldier and in Black Widow. So these are, and also by the way, Wakanda Forever. So these are characters who have been at least been absent for the past 4 years, since 2021. Now the only one that has been mentioned after that was De Fontaine in Wakanda Forever, and Yelena Bulova, who was also again was also starred in the Hawkeye TV series. So we're talking about people who most casual fans, even myself. No, not really. I remember Echo because I like Hannah John Kamen in TV series. But anyway, sorry, I was digressing. But these are these are characters that might have been forgotten by people already, especially for casual fans and casual watchers. Now, putting them together is, I would say, it's actually pretty much of a risk. It's basically like a Suicide Squad. Now, in terms of the movie, it's actually pretty straightforward. It's actually pretty simple. One thing that I would notice is, compared to the other Marvel movies previously, especially for Phase 5, is that this seemed I would say cohesive. It was pretty simple. How they met, there's more or less like a new character, MacGuffin something, a character who I guess became a MacGuffin. Something happened to that character. They had to move somewhere else, and then they go into the final act. It was pretty simple. Nothing too special about it. Another thing also, there was a lot less. There's actually a lot less callbacks to previous movies. There's only one callback to the previous movie, Brave New World, which is actually pretty short. Aside from that, there's more of the banter between what they did in their previous movies, or what they did in their previous lives. So it was pretty short. It was pretty straightforward. In terms of in terms of it being self-contained, honestly, it's a yes or no. It's a yes or no, because if you've watched the previous movies, oh, you'll remember. But if not, then there's going to be a bit of a question mark in your head. So if you'd like to watch it, I suggest checking out the primers. Like Looper has one. Now, in terms of the movie itself looks pretty dark. It looks pretty bland. It looks pretty hazy. I guess it also adds into its one of its themes of mental health, which is depression, loneliness, and I guess even guilt from what they previously did. And basically honestly it works. And another thing also is that the movie itself, the action scenes are there. The fight scenes are honestly pretty quick, but you're talking about assassins here. You're talking about criminals here. Of course, they'll try to do things quick, right? So I would understand. I would understand that why would their scenes be, or even fight scenes be quick. So personally, I don't understand the big hate against it. Are they talking about superhero fatigue? Well, Brave New World, people went in to watch. Honestly, I didn't like it. I never liked the Sam Wilson character. I never like I didn't like any of their characters there. So personally, I actually had to force myself to watch it, because I'm gonna be watching because I thought that I need to watch it, before getting into Thunderbolts. And that's one thing I did. That's one thing that I feel that maybe even casual fans might feel, wherein you need to do like how many movies worth of homework just to watch this. Honestly, you might have to, because these are characters you've forgotten. I'm sure that casual fan won't remember Ghost. But then again, the thing is, you don't really need to, since they've been explaining this also. There's some quick explanation with regards to what they did and who they are before. Granted, you still need to go back to it. But then again, unlike Suicide Squad, wherein they just hit you face up with who these characters are, this is a little bit, I would say this is a little bit more, I wouldn't say nuanced, but these are characters that lead more weight, that lends more weight. Now, if people tend to compare this to the Suicide Squad, well, there's a big difference. One thing is that in the Suicide Squad, these are criminals who are forced, to band together to do a mission, to do a government mission, basically to either save something or kill something, right? While the Thunderbolts are separate operatives who were led to a mission, had to work together. Remember, they had to work together. It's not that they wanted to, they had to by necessity, but they were not threatened to. They had to decide to work together. And then also decide to work for good, or decide to do something good in their lives. It's a big difference. It's a big difference from what Suicide Squad is, because technically they were still just criminals all the way until the last part, wherein they decided to help. As if you're talking about the Starfish or in the first Suicide Squad, they didn't really. They had their motivation is to save themselves because they had the bomb. Unlike the Thunderbolts, it's a big difference because they decided to help. They themselves decided to help. And in the end, I guess it's also a little bit of a redemption arc for themselves, right? Now for characters, now we're gonna be going into spoiler territory now. So again, guys, spoilers. The thing here is that with the acting, Florence Pugh did great as Yelena Belova. She's been doing great since the first Black Widow movie, also with the Hawkeye series, and now here she is. She was able to portray this bored, sad look, right? Where she is naturally witty, she is naturally sarcastic, so she just shows it in a little more bored way. And the way she deals with Bob, who was Louis Pullman, by the way, the son of our president, the U.S. president, Bill Pullman, the way she would soften up to him, you can see the subtle movement, the subtle acts that she has. John Walker is played by Wyatt Russell, who's the son of Kurt Russell. So we have two Nepo babies in this. And by the way, these two guys, I'm it gives a reason that why not give nepo babies a chance because they did so well. I've the first time I've seen Wyatt Russell is in that movie Overlord. I think it's Overlord where they went against Nazis with okay, it's a real cool movie. And he presented himself as a badass there. This same movie presented him as a badass, but he's an asshole badass. Actually, from watching it here, I like John Walker now here because in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier he was just an asshole who had a slight redemption arc. But here, he actually decided to be a better person despite all the problems that he had. But he was still an asshole. Did play the asshole part pretty well. Next we had David Harbour. Everybody loves him anyway. He did it. He did well. Now most people would say he was the comedic. He was just comedy. No, he wasn't. He was funny at some parts, but you can see that he switches with when he deals with Yelena. You can switch it. He is actually a father. He played himself as the part he was playing as a father. He was living it. So, some of the jokes did not fly, but most of it did. There's actually more dry humor than slapstick jokes, and it actually pretty worked for me. Sebastian Stan as Bucky is just the same, the more or less a lighter, no, the same Bucky, but a little bit more of an advisory role, wherein you usually see him as the broken guy or the warrior. Now he's more like the elder statesman. Played as usually great by Sebastian Stan. Then we have Hannah John Kamen as the ghost. Honestly, she had a lot more hurt in Ant-Man and the Wasp. Now, honestly, she was very underutilized in the film. She's pretty underutilized. No, she is underutilized. But then again, you're talking about a person who grew up in a lab who didn't really know much about the world. As usual, she's so hot. She's always been hot. So, and the way she for the limited things that she has to do, she actually played pretty well. She was pretty funny. She was pretty sarcastic. Then we have we'll do the other one. Then we have Julie Louis Dreyfus, who played the Contessa role, but unlike her previous roles were previous times when she played it, coming in just like the stereotypical criminal. Now she can see she has more to work with now, wherein she had to find a way to get herself out of the problems that she made. So this has a little bit more, and there's actually this scariness to her. Like she'd smile, she'd be talking so polite, but she's devious, she's evil, and I think most people don't notice it, but Julie Louis Dreyfus played it perfectly because she's knowing her as a comedian, doing this, knowing that she can be funny, she can be witty, but she can order your death, right? Her assistant Mel, unfortunately I can't pronounce the name. Very pretty, as usual, very pretty. She did a great way of she had this great way of being weak at one point and then being kissing up to De Fontaine at the same time, and also having the conflict. Did pretty well. And then lastly, we talk about Olga Kurylenko as Taskmaster. Now, a lot of people, I don't know why, they tend to hate why they did her dirty. They did her dirty. Okay, fine, yes, it was pretty fast. Her death was pretty fast. But remember, she is not the Taskmaster that most MCU or most comics people know. There was actually people tend to forget in Black Widow when she was revealed to be Taskmaster. Not a lot of people, no, almost a lot of people hated it. She was never the favorite as the Taskmaster. So I guess it could be Marvel course correcting this. But then again, also you have someone who got a mind controlled person into that group who did also bad stuff. I would think it's pretty hard to sell her as a new Avenger, right? So I guess they had to just close it. Actually, learning about some plot points when she was supposed to have this running gag that she was supposed to survive all the way up to the end and have this running gag of forgetting her memories. It's pretty similar to how Bob does it, right? So I think she's pretty redundant. I know it hurt. I know it was sad losing her, but I guess it's something that needs to push the story forward. And lastly, Lewis Pullman. Lewis Pullman did Sentry. I mean, he looked the part, the costume, this, and he was not supposed to be Sentry. He was supposed to be Steve Yeun, the Asian guy in The Walking Dead. Well, honestly, we're not sure, but I would think Steve Yeun would have done it well. But I'm not sure if on Sentry mode how Steve Yeun would look like. But But I would say that this replacement with Lewis Pullman, very good. He acted it so well. The way you can see the differences from when he was Bob, unsure of himself, thinking that he's causing trouble, and then when he came the Sentry, he had the confidence in him, and then you could even see the shift, his delusions of grandeur shift. It's great the subtle changes to himself did a great job. And I would say acting wise they did a pretty good job considering the roles that they have. Even Hannah John Kamen, especially when she had those limited roles, but she would act. She knew how to act. She knew how to do the ensemble thing. And it's a great ensemble cast. So honestly, I'm not gonna say it's great. It's a good movie. Definitely not great, definitely not epic, but I would say it's better than most people burn it out to be. In terms, new rock stars, Eric Voss would say that this is the best since Endgame, or some people say the best Phase 5 movie. Personally, it's not. It's not. I would rank it just below Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Yeah. I think it might match with Shang-Chi, though Shang-Chi had definitely larger scale, more actually pretty funny with Aquafina there. But the comedy here, not really hit or miss, but it's funny that people would talk about the suicides, the Thunderbolts saying why would they inject comedy? Remember, you're talking about hardened criminals, hardened killers here, and they do banter. They will banter. So they would say, "What do you want? What do you want the movie to be? What, a gore fest, or are you talking about? Are you just gonna think about everybody has to be serious?" Yelena Bolova wasn't serious in the Hawkeye and in Black Widow. So why are you asking them to be too serious here? Right? So I guess I'm not sure even if this is a review. But I guess it's more like a commentary of the Thunderbolts. But it's a good movie. It's good movie bordering on great. So please, anybody who watched this movie, please debunk me or tell me why this wasn't good. Because honestly, I feel that that a lot of the hate for this movie is pretty forced. It's more like because I hated MCU as a whole, then I'm hating on this. Because it's actually more of a throwback to the older movies where it's character driven. They were actually building the character. The shame rooms, I would have wanted a shame room for the Red Guardian and Ghost, but then again, I think it's to push the movie forward. But it actually works. And another thing also is that the Brave New World wasn't, honestly, I didn't like it at all, but it might have hurt these chances. But for anybody here watching me, for the almost no people watching me, check out the movie. Check it out for yourself. Most people had high hopes for this and maybe lost it on which part. Tell me which part. Tell me which part you didn't like it. And coming from a guy who still love Marvel movies, but I have to admit that I suffered from the superhero fatigue, not because of the number of super movies, because of the quality itself. Sometimes it became too forced. I still enjoy every Marvel movie, but some of them are just not as overwhelming. But this one, I liked it. It's grounded. It's pretty grounded. Um, it's not that big of a scale, but it's exactly what it's needed. Especially you're talking about assassins here who had to team up, right? And for the Sentry, somebody that powerful is you can't fight somebody that powerful head on, and it had to take five five, or actually more, it's just Yelena, but they did it together. Five broken people to beat somebody as powerful as Sentry. How cool is that, right? How cool is that? So, I guess I would say it's a great movie. It's a good movie, not great. It's great-ish, I would say. Great-ish. It would be one of the best Marvel Phase 5 movies. You don't really have to review too much to watch this, but I would say give it a shot. Give it a shot. Enjoy the movie. Remove all the other Marvel things in your head. Try it out. Now for the end credits, the mid credit scene is funny. It's the Marvel funny thing with. But I would understand how you'd feel that if you're seeing yourself in a Wheaties box, or if I see myself in an article, right? Of course, I'd like people to see that too. And for the second one, the end credit scene, it got me excited because for once, we now have a clear path. The MCU now has a clear path. Remember, it was supposed to be with Jonathan Majors, but unfortunately, due to his cases, the whole Kang thing is shelved. So now they had to go to another path, and this is it. This is it. For a long time, we had problems with what's happening. Did they just do the movie and that's it? I would say She-Hulk, and the other movies, like what is it? What does it really do? Right? Doctor Strange, what does it do now? Now we have a path, right? We have the Fantastic Four. It's coming. Fantastic Four is coming. It's pretty. The one who's gonna be playing Invisible Woman, Vanessa Kirby. Oh, she's so pretty. So check it out. I love the movie. I love the Thunderbolts or the New Avengers. Check it out. I think it's a fun watch. You won't notice the length. With regards to the mental health issues, I'm not a professional. I really can't put details about it, but you can see how they try to cope with it, right? Like Yelena was saying that you just push it down, but it's not. You can't. It manifests. Bob, especially with Bob, it works. It works. It's not great, but it works. So at the end of it, I would say The Thunderbolts is a good movie. Great-ish. It's bordering on great. And it's a different kind of Misfits. I would say if you're gonna be comparing it to a Guardians of the Galaxy, well, no, it's not. It's not definitely not Guardians of the Galaxy. But if you're gonna be putting it at Suicide Squad, well, I'd put it on top of Suicide Squad. So I would say for the Misfits group, Guardians, Thunderbolts, Suicide Squad. Just because, just for the fact that the Thunderbolts decided to do good. Like they decided to do good. It's their chance to do good, and they were able to do it. So, I mean, for the people who watch me, please feel free to comment. If you want to rip on me, it's fine. But give Thunderbolts a shot. I think the people who worked on it did well, and deserve. And I guess it's a great way to also enjoy. And go Thunderbolts.